Hi everyone, it's Simon Peters, Walking the Way project manager here. Walking the Way is all about encouraging people to live out their faith in everyday life, whatever that might look like for them. And I'm really excited to say that every synod in the United Reformed Church is doing something meaningful to help people do just that. One of the ways that Southern Synod is supporting people in living out their faith is through the lay preaching course, which is offered by training officer Andy Twilley. I sat down recently on Zoom with Mark from Stockwell Green URC, Teresa from Kingston URC, and Yunhee, organist and youth worker at St Andrews URC in Balham, to ask them more about their experience on this course, not just what it did to help them to be stronger worship leaders inside the church, but also to be stronger and more confident disciples of Jesus outside the church. And it turns out that the COVID-19 crisis that we've all been living with has actually helped people to make more of a connection between their faith and the challenges we face in everyday life. Here's a little extract from our conversation. I began by asking if it was fair to say that relationships are key to encouraging us to get involved with things that can help our discipleship.
Yes, you're correct in terms of relationships, because it came out of the relationship between my pastor and I. And not that only, but yeah, it was mainly my pastor who said, I think you should engage with something of the sort. Here's a possibility to do this. So how has the course helped me in terms of my discipleship and walking? It has reinforced what I already knew. How has it helped me in terms of my discipleship and my life and relationship with others? Apart from reinforcing it, I learned a new technique of delivering, which has helped, which then move on to help the congregation as I deliver the sermon. So they got a different approach to sermon delivery. And so that's how it has helped me so far.
I think from the point of view of the course, I think for me, it wasn't so much reinforcing sort of reinforcing, because there wasn't so much to reinforce for me, but there was the developing. And I think in that group, we all said that it gave us, as Mark implied, structure of how to think when you're planning the sermon, how to think when you're planning a service. But then, of course, we had this virus and the lockdown. And what's happened was that various people doing various things to do with our online services. And our minister asked me if I would do a prayer email every day. And originally, it was going to be that if somebody became ill, then it would go around, please pray for that person, or please pray for that situation. But it developed, like all things during this thing. I think it's made us all much more flexible to do with worship, to do with relationship with people and everything. And it's become now, if you like, a tailor-made for our community prayer email, which gets then WhatsApped to people as well. And if I hadn't done that course, I don't think I would have had the creativity, which you could say Holy Spiritish creativity, or the confidence to explore the avenues. And so now what's happened is that, for instance, other people send me prayers, and then I test the water, what's going on politically, nationally, internationally, or locally, and tailor-make what flavour do I need. Is it the one where we're all feeling a bit down and we need to remember that God is with us, or that we're rejoicing because it's a sunny day, even though actually it's sweltering and we wish that we could get further afield than our own back garden, or there's all sorts. And then people are contributing prayers to me, which is great. And then somebody now, this week, I'm starting a series where they've done a sort of reflection based on a reading. And I've had to fiddle around with it, and I've talked to them about how to do it. I don't think that I would have got to where I've got to and been able to be so varied about it if I hadn't done the course, because it as I say, it gave a structure. And that is, when I think about it, that comes back to what you said about relationship, because we are relying on these things like emails, WhatsApps, and obviously Zoom services and things and meetings to keep in contact with each other. And little did we know when we did the course how our skills would be used when we're not actually going into church together. And you could say, well, what's the use of going to a worship leaders course when nobody's actually turning up in church? And then you've got all this stuff we can do.
Another thing about relationship building, Simon, is the use of technology for us in the course, because there is now the WhatsApp group for the lay preachers who did the 2019. And so that is also another means of communication with each other and developing relationship in another kind of way, technology mediated relationship, but nonetheless relationship, as best we can define it.
Yes, technology has really transformed the way that we interact with each other. I've been really moved as project manager for Walking the Way to hear of so many congregations around the URC who've taken to technology in many different ways through the lockdown. Congregations that you'd never think in a million years would look at technology have now moved worship online, finding ways of reaching communities online, raising social justice awareness.
The course itself, the fact that we have the course, it is, as I see, helping us as believers, and especially us as lay preachers, to walk the way.
Yeah.
It is allowing us to do that, and I see a direct connection, see that directly feeding in. So, and they should be applauded for doing this, because it's a feeding into that very thing of walking the way, the strategy that has been developed. I see it. That's the way I see the connection there as well.
Yeah, very much so. Yes, as individuals, but also for our churches as well, because people are aware that we've done it, and to a greater or lesser extent, we are making a difference to our church community.
I can think about everything widely. Yeah, really widely, because I just focus on the music, related music, children, music, community, music, worship, like this. But after meeting Andy, after attending this course, I can see church widely, especially in community service and community work. Church, especially this coronavirus, during this time, church has to offer to resident. Is it right? Does it make
to local residents, yes.
Yeah.
And the local community.
So for this course, I learned how to church do for resident or local. Yeah.
Yes, you learned how to do church outside of the building, with the people in the community. Yeah,
Thank you, Simon.
That's brilliant. That's great.
Here's what I would say to anyone who is interested in, or who has been thinking about doing something of the sort, something similar to what the South Synod has done in terms of Andy and the program. Let me look at the camera straight and to say this, that you will not regret it. You will always come away with something. You'll always learn something new. You can use that directly, Simon.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we'll just have that as a tagline for anything that we want people to get involved with. You will not regret it. You will always learn something new. If you've got a story about living out your faith in everyday life, or the way in which your local church or your synod has supported you in doing that, we'd really love to hear from you. It's always good to share good news and stories around. So please email us at wtw@urc.org.uk. Until next time, keep safe. God bless.